Hey, my name is Tamara, and I recently went through a deliverance session with Wildfire Blaze Church, the leadership, Apostle Angela McGill and Prophetess Alicia Kemper. And I'm just sharing my experience and just testifying of the amazing deliverance session that I went through. So of course, Prophetess Alicia is actually my sister, my big sister, and she just said over the weeks or so, she's been sharing with me some of her experiences of like going through deliverance and some of the things that God delivered her from, and different people in their ministry that was being delivered. And my heart was just pricked because of some of the things that I've been experiencing, and just the overall desire to just be set free and to know that, you know, God has more for me and God wants me to be free, you know. So they came to my house, and I was nervous. I was really nervous at first. I'm not ignorant or not new to deliverance ministry and what it entails, so I was kind of nervous, but my nervousness didn't outweigh my want to be free. And so the deliverance session was amazing. There was such a peace that just emanated from both Angela and Alicia. I felt, even though I was nervous about going through the session and what might happen, or if I might manifest or something like that, or if a spirit might manifest, even though I was nervous about those things, I knew I was safe. I think that was the biggest thing for me, is that I really felt safe. Just there was such a peace that they just brought into the room with them, that I really felt comfortable in proceeding with the deliverance session. And and so as the deliverance session was going on, I became more and more comfortable, and just I really did sense freedom. I knew that God was in the room. I felt the Holy Spirit. I knew that there was a difference, there was a change taking place within myself. And so I just followed the instructions that they gave me, no matter no matter how uncomfortable I got. I just stuck to the instructions that they gave me, and just tried my best to just kind of stay in a place of receiving and just listening to the voice, because God is using them to guide us, guide me through the deliverance. And so I just listened to their voice, and I just trusted God ultimately that, this is something that God wanted for me, and that, God would never take us in anything that's wrong or bad for us. And so I just trusted that, and I trusted them. And so as the deliverance session was going on, even though I did manifest and things did manifest, some spirits, I could feel them like ripping, tearing. It felt like a tearing from my body, from my being. And it got really intense. It did get really intense for me. But like I said, I just tried to maintain, just keep following the instructions that they gave me, and just trusting God, and just believing God, and just trusting God in that process. And so during the deliverance session, I did have several spirits that manifested: the spirit of Python, the spirit of anxiety, the spirit of Jezebel, the spirit of what was the other one? Leviathan, Legion. And one of the biggest places that I felt deliverance, when they began to call the spirit of shame and guilt, when they began to call those spirits out. And that was like, I think that out of it was about 7 spirits that manifested, but out of all of them, it was that moment where I really felt the greatest deliverance and greatest peace. And like it's just like that thing lifted off of me. One of the biggest things that led me to want to go through deliverance, because I realized how shame, embarrassment, regret, all those things are really affecting my ministry. They were affecting my business, everything that that God has called me to. Those things are really affecting me and hindering me, and I really sensed God delivering me of those spirits, and I really felt them leave my being. I mean, just such a peace as those spirits were coming out. I mean, even though it was like I was manifesting, and it was really intense, even though it was like that, I felt such peace. I felt God's presence just like all around me. Like God really felt like God was just like in the room doing surgery. It really felt like that, like it felt like I was under anesthesia. You know what I mean? Like, like when you're having a C-section and you're awake, like you're being cut, but like there's such a peace and there's such a calmness there that you just trust the hands of the surgeon. You know what I mean? And that's really how I felt. And so, but when they began to cast that particular spirit out, just such, peace just flooded my spirit, and I really felt like I could believe and trust God at a whole nother level, and I felt my faith rising again. I felt like I was really taking ownership of my salvation again, and that that my life with that the promises and the things that God has ordained for my life, that I really could walk in. And so since that experience, literally the next day, one of the other spirits that they cast out was a lunatic spirit, mental illness type spirits dealing with mental illness. And that's one of the things that kind of strike my bloodline on both my mother and my father's side, and it's something that I've dealt with very heavily. Depression, anxiety. I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, panic disorder, and so those are things that I had been struggling with. And when I tell you that the next morning after I went through the deliverance session, like I woke up and the first thing I heard was the voice of God, and I could honestly say it's been years since the first thing that I hear when I open my eyes in the morning is the voice of God. And I think that was like the greatest sign to me that I had been delivered, and that God was delivering me, because I'm not foolish enough to think that it's just that's the only time, or that I don't have other processes to walk through. But to be able to wake up the following morning and just hear the voice of God and just walk in that all day long, it was just I've had such a great peace. I've been able to sleep. I've been sleeping very well. I wake up, my plan is always to get up early and to do different things, to create different things that I need to do and go about my day. But I'm able to go to bed at a good time. I'm able to get up in the morning, and I don't feel groggy. My kids just went back to school. I'm not fussing at my kids first thing in the morning, and it's such a peace. And it's not something that I'm trying to do or I'm trying to walk out. No, the struggle is gone. Anybody who's dealt with depression knows that just getting out of bed is hard. It's a struggle. And so, but since then, I haven't been struggling. I haven't been struggling to get up. And literally, that Sunday, I am a worship leader. I was able to lead worship the way I know God intended me to lead it. You know what I mean? Not second guessing his voice, being confident in him, and that I hear him, and that, wherever he leads me, I can follow, and not hearing these tormenting spirits telling me, oh, you're not called here, oh, you've done too much wrong, or you can't stand before God's people, and all of those things. I literally stood before God, and led praise and worship in the confidence of God. I wasn't being tormented. I was able to lead the way I know God intended me to lead. And just since then, God has just been revealing so much to me. I mean, people have been randomly coming up to me, sowing seeds into my ministry, sowing seeds into me, you know. I mean, something as simple as somebody did my hair for my braids, you know what I mean? Like, just, Tim, I'm going to bless you, I'm going to braid your hair, like simple things. And it's like, it's God, you know, like and all of these things really have just transpired in the days after me going through the deliverance session. And so I think the biggest thing that I want to say to anybody who may be considering going through deliverance is that you absolutely should. Like, don't allow the fear, you know what I mean? And that was another thing that God really delivered me on, was fear. You know, fear of failure, fear of not being successful, fear of everything just falling apart, that doom feeling. You know, I don't have that anymore. And I think the biggest thing that I want to say to you is that you need this. Like, your life needs this. And, you know, you deserve to be free. Like, we serve a God who has ordained us to live a life of freedom, a life of victorious. The victory is something as simple as just being able to get up in the morning and really having joy, not having to fight so hard, to just smile, to just be happy, you know. Like, I think that's the biggest thing for me. And it's like, I'm genuinely happy. I'm just at peace. Like, you know, all of my situations haven't changed. I'm still raising kids, you know, I'm still a mom, I'm still a business owner, I'm still, you know, in ministry, I'm still doing all these things. The weight didn't change, but my mind and the peace and just hearing God's voice clearly and knowing his instructions for my life and just being at peace, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's enough. That's enough to go through it, you know, to get over the fear of what might manifest or you know, you have to do it. You have to, because on the other side of deliverance is peace, is joy. It's I mean, like, people around me have literally been talking about, Tam, like, what is going on with you? Like, there's just this joy emanating out of you. You're just so happy. You're so, you know, I'm always been a kind of a people person, you know, but you know, even everybody's around me like, Tam, you're so joyful. You're so, you know, what is this? What's going on? And all I can tell them is, hey, I've been delivered. I got delivered. You know, like, this is not something I'm trying to do. It's not something I'm trying to be. Oh, this is just what's in me. My spirit, man, is prospering. My soul is prospering, you know. And it's like, I think it was the best decision I made for my life at this time, like, is to trust God in going through this deliverance session. So God bless you, and I pray that you make the decision to walk through deliverance in this season, because it is so vital for your life.